Hey everyone, it's Bailey. Welcome back to the channel and thanks so much for tuning in for what is going to be my August beauty favorites. As the title probably suggests, these are some of my favorite videos to watch, so let's go ahead and jump right in. It's hard to believe August is already over. I am not one to say that every month, but this month especially flew by for some reason, and I have to say I'm not all that disappointed. I'm excited for fall, for the cooler weather to come, and for American Horror Story to start. I don't talk a whole lot about TV shows here, but that is the one show consistently, year after year, that I cannot wait to watch. It's like my go-to. I like other shows, but that's like my absolute favorite. It's had its rocky points, but I have high hopes for this season. So without that deviation, let's go ahead and dive in. Let's first start with the base. No secret, I've been loving the J. Manuel Beauty. This is the, I don't even know what it is anymore. Oh, I do actually. The exterior, the plastic exterior, this is what it's supposed to look like. I actually repurchased it. I went through a couple of other foundations in my collection because I'm about to run out of this guy. Went through a couple other foundations and just none of them could stack up against this. So I bought it again. It's the Filter Finish Collection Skin Perfector Foundation, and mine is in the shade Medium Filter 1. I've also recently did a video talking all about a lot of other products from his collection that I had the opportunity to try. So definitely go check that out. I was pretty impressed overall. I was just given, I feel like this is not a brand a lot of people talk about, and it's underrated in general, this foundation is at least, so I wanted the opportunity to try other products. So go check that video out if you are in the same boat and you're curious as well. I do want to say, however, that is not what I'm currently wearing. I'm actually have been testing this out for a while. The Smashbox Studios Skin 15-Hour Wear Hydrating Foundation. They sent this to me about a week ago, so I've been using it for the past week. Pretty impressed with the results. It's not my shade. This is the shade 2.2, and I think part of what is throwing me, and something I need to do before I do a full-blown review, is go buy the right shade for me, because I really like the way it wears. It dries down to, I don't want to say a powdery finish, kind of like the J. Manuel foundation does. It dries down, not to a powdery finish, because to me that insinuates that like you can tell something's on your skin and you can't with this stuff, but because anytime I have a foundation that doesn't exactly match me, I just feel like I know it's there. I look in the mirror and I can tell I'm wearing foundation. I'm pretty sure everybody else can too. So for that matter alone, I really need to give it a fair go at the right shade for me so that I can get a feel for what it's like not looking like a mask on my face, because it doesn't feel like a mask at all. It's very lightweight, not quite as full coverage and second skin-like as the J. Manuel, which is why it's not a holy grail status quite yet, but it's something that I am currently loving this month. Next up is the concealer, the Studio Skin 24-Hour Waterproof Concealer. This, they sent me with this foundation, and I have to say I've been loving this more so than the Kat Von D Lock-It Cream Concealer. I think this is a little bit more steadfast for me, and it has a lighter texture. The Kat Von D is a little bit more moisturizing. It's going to be hydrating for more mature skin tones, but it's not going to sink into fine lines and creases. At least I didn't experience that when I used it and tested it. But this is just a slightly thinner consistency. It's a little bit easier to blend out, feels a little bit less detectable on the skin, and it truly does. I mean, like it says, waterproof, lasts all day. And then to apply that, I have been using the Real Techniques, this is like the mini precision sponge, I believe that's what it's called. Have really been liking this to pat in the under eye area. It has this kind of shaved off tip here at the end, and I find that's just really great for getting up under your eyes and really patting that concealer. Sometimes I'll find when I apply with my fingers, even though I love how the natural warmth from my fingers will help blend that into my skin a little bit more, I find that I can't get it close enough to my lash line, so I kind of rely on my eyeshadow to cover that up. But if I'm not wearing eyeshadow, or I'm just not wearing a dark enough eyeshadow, that gap is still there. And this really gets up in there without tugging or feeling uncomfortable in your eye area. Very soft, very beauty blender-like in texture, if that makes sense. A lot of kind of imitation sponges can be a little too hard. Not this guy. I've been wanting to do a review because I got both this and the contour and highlight sponge from Octoly, but they didn't have the diamond sponge on Octoly, and so I thought, oh, I ordered the diamond sponge, and I think I'd rather wait for it to get here to talk about all three, since they're all three new to the brand. So that will be coming soon, but I've really been liking, just kind of spoiler alert, I guess, I've really been liking the mini precision sponge for that concealer, as well as around the nose. The taper tip here is exactly like a beauty blender, just smaller. Really nice to get around the nose and just kind of spot blending concealer around the face as you may need it. Onto the eyes, we are finally changing things up this month. For the past few months, I've really been loving the Modern Renaissance palette from Anastasia. That is no different this month. I started out the month still really loving this, getting a lot of good out of it. I've been making some serious dents in these shades. Still loving it. However, I have had a few more eyeshadows come my way. It's forced me to kind of step out of that comfort zone and into some new testing grounds. And as a result, I found I really, really like the new L'Oreal quads. Amazing quads for the drugstore and just in general. The one I've really been liking is Boudoir Charm. I recently did a tutorial, like a 3-in-1, not just using this, but 2 other quads from the new collection as well. I just think they're a great quality from the drugstore. The colors are really rich. This quad in particular is amazing for the everyday. If you love a good neutral, this kind of packs every shade you could want, from the good old-fashioned champagne to more of a coppery bronze. You get a hint of burgundy. It's not overwhelming, you know, burgundy if you aren't comfortable wearing like a red on your eyelid. This just has burgundy or reddish undertones, but it's still a really comfortable brown. And then a deep dark chocolatey. They are all shimmers, so you might have to supplement this with a matte, although I didn't in that tutorial, but just something to keep in mind if you're eyeing these. Know that this particular quad does not have a matte shadow, so you might need to add one into the mix if you are a matte fanatic. The other palette that I have been using, but I'm not in love with, we're still like dating, we haven't committed to each other yet, but I feel like mentioning because I have been using it every day for the past week. I will be coming out with a tutorial with all these looks that I've been using it, just because I really, really wanted to test it, because it's one of those where it could be a cult classic or it couldn't, naturally, because it carries the Urban Decay Naked name. This is the Naked Ultimate Basics palette. They sent this to me along with a lot of other really fun stuff, like I'm wearing one of the Moon Shadow. It's actually the Moon Dust. Liquid Moon Dust sent, I think, all of the new colors in the line, so I will have videos on all this coming up, but I just really wanted to give them all a good, solid try and test before making a video. So this isn't a favorite. I do want to say this is not a favorite for the month, but I felt the need to mention it because it is, I mean, I've been wearing it for a quarter of the month. I'm not convinced it's my favorite matte formula. It's a good collection of colors as far as all matte palettes go, but yeah, I'll tell you more when I actually do the review. Leave any questions you have in the comments below, but just know this is on my radar. It's currently what I'm wearing on my eyes along with that Moon Dust, Moon Shadow. What is it called? Moon Dust. Currently wearing that along with Moon Dust on my eyes, so you'll get a little how-to coming up here shortly. Next up is the face, and this, you know, has been a favorite because I've hit pan on it. It is the Pure Minerals Glow Together Gradient Matte Shimmer Bronzer. This has been my go-to summer bronzer, obviously, because I've done some work up here. This is the matte side of things, so even though I have been using a good amount of the shimmer, an everyday kind of product is more the matte for me, and I think that really shows here. So I have been experimenting with other matte bronzers, namely the Essence Sun Club. By the way, I'm reaching over here in my everyday makeup drawer. I fully plan on having a tour of that coming out soon, but I know I do that frequently, and I'm finally getting it to a place where I can show you around, because it's kind of where I keep my everyday makeup, the stuff that I'm currently using, as well as the stuff that I'm testing. So I thought that might be a good, like, what's in that thing she reaches in all the time? I could do a video all about that. So the other thing that I've been trying to maybe wean myself off of this guy to see if I really need to purchase it once I run out or not is the Essence Sun Club Matte Bronzing Powder. This is for lighter skin, and it is what I'm wearing today. Kind of hard to tell, I feel like, on top of my yellowy orangey foundation, but for the most part, I really like it. I feel like I need to test it over a foundation that's a little bit more right for my shade because it's coming off a little bit peachy orangey, but as far as wear goes, application, it's not patchy despite being matte. It, you know, it goes on really smoothly, evenly, all that kind of stuff. So formula gets a thumbs up. I'm just not totally convinced that the color is right for me. For the rest of the face, I've been loving the Anastasia Glow Kit in That Glow. Specifically, these 2 shades down here. I wish it had a mirror. That's the one thing. For as expensive as this is, I really, really wish it had a mirror, but have been loving these 2 on the bottom for a more natural glow. And then when I really want to amp up that highlight, I put this Sunburst on the tops of my cheekbones. It's absolutely beautiful. Not wearing it today though. Really wish I'd remembered that because it's like boom. Well, not really. Sunburst is like boom in your face, but bubbly and dripping and gold are very subtle. They really do give you that lit from within. So if you're so over the highlighter thing and you don't want to look like a glitter bomb, but you still are looking for your highlighter, like the one that really flatters you, I would definitely recommend this because these are two really natural looking highlighters that still give you a noticeable glow. And last are the lips. I have been loving these lip composites from Who Is She Cosmetics. I'm currently wearing the shade Angelic on my lips right now, but the shade that I've been loving through the month is Aniyah, A-N-I-Y-A-H, Aniyah, I feel like might be it. I'm not sure, but basically it is this pink base with this amazing gold shift. It looks like this really flattering, it looks like a lip gloss, but by a composite it means it's super opaque. It has a lip gloss texture and a lip gloss shine, but the opacity of a lipstick and kind of the lasting power of a lipstick. I mean, it is a little tacky. You're definitely going to notice transfer, but I noticed these last a little bit longer than a lip gloss, and they don't stain the lips, so there really is no staining aspect to this at all. But I guess it's a composite of lipstick lip gloss sort of thing. I have a ton of shades from this line, and so I've just been slowly working my way through them to see if there are any cons, what the pros are, which shades I like. Fully intend on doing a swatch and review video for you guys. It's just taking me forever because I bought a lot of shades, a lot of shades. It was one of those where you're on Instagram and you see people swatching them and you're like, oh, I need that and probably one of those too, and then you have like 15 items in your cart and you don't know, like you blacked out and you just don't know what happened. So that was that kind of situation for me, but I do want to talk about them, so stay tuned for that. So that is it from me, guys. I would love to hear all the products, beauty or otherwise. I guess let me know what shows you're loving in the comments below. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.